You know, I was talking to my neighbor Margaret the other day. Wonderful woman, just turned 72, and she said something that really stuck with me. She sighed and said, I wake up each morning and think, is this it? Is this what the rest of my life is going to feel like? Now, Margaret isn't alone in feeling that way. So many people over 60 tell me they've started to feel like life is just passing them by. Maybe you've had moments like that too, when you catch yourself thinking, I used to have so much energy, or I wish I felt more excited about getting out of bed in the morning. But here's what I told Margaret, and what I want you to hear today. Your 60s, 70s, and beyond can be some of the richest, most rewarding years of your life. No, it won't look exactly like it did in your 40s. And that's okay. This isn't about turning back the clock. It's about discovering new ways to feel alive, engaged, and truly thriving in this chapter. That's why today, we're going to explore 6 life-changing habits that can help you do just that. These aren't drastic overhauls or unrealistic goals. They're simple, practical adjustments that can make a world of difference in how you feel every single day. So let's start with the first one. And I promise this might surprise you. 1. Move your body, but make it fun. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another person telling me to exercise, hear me out. This isn't about forcing yourself onto a treadmill or doing workouts you hate. In fact, if the word exercise makes you cringe, let's just call it joyful movement. Think about it. When was the last time you moved your body and actually enjoyed it? Maybe it was dancing to an old favorite song in your living room, or taking a leisurely stroll through your neighborhood, noticing the flowers blooming or the way the sunlight filters through the trees. Maybe it was gardening, getting your hands in the dirt, feeling the satisfaction of planting something new. Those moments aren't just good for your body. They're medicine for your soul. Movement keeps your joints flexible, your heart strong, and your mind sharp. But even more than that, it reminds you that your body is still capable of feeling good. Here's the key. Find what feels like play, not punishment. If you love music, try a seated dance video on YouTube. No one's watching, so let loose. If you enjoy nature, make a habit of a short daily walk, even if it's just to the mailbox and back at first. If you've always been curious about yoga, look for a gentle chair yoga class designed for seniors. And if aches or stiffness slow you down, that's normal. Start where you are, not where you think you should be. Even 5 minutes of stretching while you watch the morning news counts. The goal isn't perfection, it's feeling better than you did yesterday. 2. Feed your curiosity. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you learned something just for the fun of it? Not because you had to, but because it sparked your imagination. Here's a little secret. Your brain wants to keep growing, no matter your age. And when you give it something new to explore, it rewards you with energy, focus, and even a brighter mood. Maybe you've always wanted to. Finally learn how to use your smartphone confidently. Yes, even sending those grandkids emojis counts. Try your hand at watercolor painting or woodworking. Dive into a book about a topic you've always wondered about, like astronomy or ancient history. Take an online class, many are free, about cooking, photography, or even birdwatching. The beauty of this stage of life? There's no test at the end, no grades, no pressure. It's just you, exploring what interests you. And here's the magic. When you engage your mind this way, you're not just passing time. You're reminding yourself that life is still full of wonder. You can stay connected, but on your terms. Now, we've all heard that staying social is important as we age, but here's what no one tells you. It's not about having a crowd of friends, it's about having meaningful connections. Think about the people who leave you feeling lighter after spending time with them. Maybe it's an old friend who always makes you laugh, a neighbor who checks in on you, or even a friendly cashier at the grocery store who remembers your name. Those small moments of connection, they add up. But, and this is important, if you're someone who cherishes quiet time, that's okay too. Thriving after 60 isn't about forcing yourself into busy social calendars if that drains you. It's about nurturing the relationships that fill you up, whether that's a weekly phone call with a faraway family member, joining a book club or hobby group where you can share your interests. Even bonding with a pet. Love is love no matter how many legs they have. And if you've lost touch with people over the years, it's never too late to reach out. A simple, "I was just thinking about you," can rekindle a friendship you thought was gone. Now we've just begun unpacking these ideas, but already I hope you're feeling a little spark of, maybe I could try that. Because that's all this takes. Small steps toward what makes you feel alive. In the next part, we'll dive into 3 more powerful habits, including one surprising tip about how to rest better. Yes, rest is a skill too. But for now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 3 resonates most? Have you already tried something like this, or is there one you're excited to start? Let's chat in the comments. And if this felt helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It truly means the world to me. Until next time, remember, you're not just aging, you're living. And that's worth celebrating. You know, when we last talked, we covered 3 simple but powerful ways to start thriving after 60, moving in ways that bring you joy, feeding your curiosity, and nurturing meaningful connections. And I loved hearing from so many of you in the comments about which ideas resonated most. Now, today, we're going to dive into 3 more life-changing habits, and one of them might just surprise you. Because thriving isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you rest, how you think, and, believe it or not, how you eat. So let's get started. 4. Rest like you mean it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Rest? I've been resting my whole life. But here's the thing. There's a big difference between collapsing at the end of the day and truly resting in a way that renews you. Think about it. How often do you spend your evenings just zoning out in front of the TV, only to wake up the next morning feeling just as tired? That's not rest. Real rest is intentional. It's about giving your mind and body the deep recharge they deserve. Here's how to make it happen. Protect your sleep. If you've been struggling with restless nights, try a simple bedtime ritual, like sipping caffeine-free tea, reading a book, not on a screen, or doing a few minutes of gentle stretching. Take guilt-free naps. A 20-minute power nap in the afternoon isn't laziness. It's a reset button for your energy. Quiet your mind. If worries keep swirling, try this. Before bed, jot down 3 things you're grateful for from the day. It shifts your focus from stress to peace. Rest isn't a luxury, it's fuel. And when you start treating it that way, you'll notice a difference in how you feel all day long. 5. Challenge negative thoughts without fighting them. Here's something I've learned over the years. The stories we tell ourselves shape our lives more than we realize. And sometimes, as we get older, those stories can turn, well, a little gloomy. Thoughts like, "I'm too old to try new things. My best years are behind me. What's the point?" Sound familiar? The problem isn't that these thoughts pop up, it's that we start believing them. But here's a game changer. You don't have to argue with those thoughts. Instead, try this. When a negative thought arises, pause and ask, "Is this really true? Or is it just a habit my mind has fallen into?" Then, gently replace it with something kinder. For example, instead of "I'm too old for this," try "I've got decades of wisdom to bring to this." Instead of "I'm invisible now," try "I have a presence that doesn't need to shout." This isn't about fake positivity, it's about balance. Acknowledge the hard feelings, but don't let them drown out the good. 6. Eat for energy, not just routine. Now, I'm not about to tell you to give up all your favorite foods or follow some strict diet, but here's a simple truth. What you eat directly affects how you feel, your energy, your mood, even your joint pain. The good news? Small tweaks can make a big difference. Try this. Add before you subtract. Instead of stressing over cutting out foods, focus on adding more of the good stuff, like an extra vegetable at lunch or a handful of nuts for a snack. Hydrate smarter. Dehydration can masquerade as fatigue. Keep water handy, and if plain water bores you, try adding a slice of lemon or cucumber. Make meals colorful. The more colors on your plate, the wider the range of nutrients you're giving your body. And here's the most important part. Enjoy your food. Eating shouldn't feel like a chore or a punishment. Savor the flavors, share meals with loved ones when you can, and listen to your body. It'll tell you what it needs. Now, these 3 habits, resting deeply, shifting your mindset, and eating for energy, might not sound flashy, but trust me, they're game changers. And when you combine them with the first 3 we talked about, you've got a powerful recipe for feeling alive in this chapter of your life. In the next part, we'll tie it all together with some final thoughts and encouragement, because thriving after 60 isn't about a checklist. It's about creating days that feel good in ways that are uniquely yours. But before we get there, I'd love to hear, which of these habits do you already do without realizing it? And which one feels like the biggest challenge? Let's chat in the comments. And if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps more people find these conversations. Until next time, remember, small steps lead to big changes. You've got this. You know, when I first started gardening, I'll admit, I wasn't very good at it. I'd overwater some plants, forget to water others, and then wonder why they weren't thriving. But over time, I learned something important. Growth doesn't happen all at once. It's the small, consistent acts of care, the right amount of sunlight, a little patience, and trusting the process that make all the difference. And isn't that just like life after 60? In our first 2 conversations, we covered 6 simple but powerful habits to help you thrive, from moving joyfully to resting deeply, from feeding your curiosity to nourishing your body and mind. Today, I want to tie it all together with one final thought, because none of this is about adding more shoulds to your life. It's about rediscovering what makes you feel truly alive. The secret ingredient: permission to reinvent. Here's something I don't think we say enough. You're allowed to change. Maybe you spent decades in a role, parent, employee, caregiver, that didn't leave much room for you. Or maybe you felt stuck in routines that no longer fit. But this chapter, it's your chance to ask, what do I want now? That might look like redefining productivity. Your worth isn't tied to how much you get done. A day spent reading, puttering in the garden, or simply watching the birds is just as valuable as a busy one. Letting go of supposed to. Always hated cooking? Maybe it's time for simple meals instead of elaborate ones. Love sleeping in? Embrace it. This is your life. No apologies needed. Trying and quitting without guilt. Always wanted to learn the piano but realized it's not for you? That's not failure, it's wisdom. On to the next adventure. Reinvention isn't about dramatic changes. It's about tiny, joyful rebellions against the idea that aging means shrinking your world. Putting it all together. Now, if all these tips feel overwhelming, here's my advice. Start small. Pick one thing that resonates, just one, and try it for a week. Maybe it's dancing to one song each morning, calling an old friend you miss, swapping afternoon sweets for a piece of fruit sometimes, writing down one thing you're proud of each night. That's it. No grand plans, no pressure, just one small step toward feeling a little brighter, a little lighter. Because here's the truth. Thriving after 60 isn't about checking off boxes. It's about waking up each day and thinking, what could make today good? And then giving yourself permission to do it. If you take nothing else from our time together, remember this. You matter. Not for what you do, not for how much you achieve, but simply because you're here. The world needs your stories, your laughter, your quiet wisdom, and you deserve to enjoy this chapter on your terms. So, as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question. What's one tiny thing you could do this week to remind yourself that life is still full of possibility? Share it in the comments. I'd love to cheer you on. And if this series has been helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more conversations like this. But most importantly, go easy on yourself. Growth takes time, just like my little plant here. Picks up the plant with a grin. Look, new leaves, proof that good things are still unfolding. Here's to your next leaf, friends, however it chooses to grow.